Hello YouTube streamers. In this chess video, I will be going over some amazing tactics and other things in chess games of course, but this time the opening is very rare, not played and a bit human now I would say because that's the words to describe it. Well, consider I was playing with the black pieces, opponent opened with e4. I played e5, queen to f3, the Napoleon attack, knight to f6, d3, h6, h3, knight c6, and of course the human c3. And why this is human and childish so much, because the point of killing c3 is to push b4. Consider I play the bishop to c5 move, b4 we played, and my bishop drops back. a4, a6, knight e3. And that's how humans go about this. They place the knight on c4, they dominate the game with their pawns, and they simply win. The computers may win against you if you're playing with the white pieces in this position, but it's very difficult for humans to come up with another solution. However, because I knew that I'm a human and this is going to be really difficult, I came up with the move after c3. I played a5, now making sure that nothing will disturb the position of my bishop on the c5 square unless he plays bishop to e3. And if he does, I had other moves in mind. But he went for the bishop to e2 move, which was slightly confusing to me. Bishop c5 I played like land, queen to g3, and then I understood that placing two bishops on the diagonals pointing towards the king side of black was a bit witty point, but I played rook g8 and all stops. So bishop to f3 he went, now trying to make square from knight on g1 to e2 and then trying to get it in the game. I played b5. You must be thinking this seems not human. However, it is. And the point is so simple, it is to break open the queen side of white while he's trying to attack, I mean, on the king side. I thought he will play the bishop to e3 now, but instead, knight to e2 was played. Okay, that's a move I would say. Okay. b4 I went for, trying to open up. He went d4, and knowing that I cannot actually compensate if I lose the bishop, I retreated to b6 and he pushed the pawn over here. I retreated my knight to e7 square, and you might think that now I'm losing development, but the truth is I'm doubly protecting my rook, and my f6 knight is going to get better. I played a bishop to d2 was played, c5, pawn captures, c takes on b4, and after this pawn captures castling. This is the exact thumbnail if you have observed on YouTube, and basically you can see that the pawns are protected highly, and the b4 pawn controls the knight on b1, the e5 pawn controls the knight on e2, and basically they are stuck. The only way they can go is backwards, and as I have stopped the knight's attack, I have a really better position. Bishop to a6 I played here in this position, rook to e1, and I went for the bishop d3 move if you have thought so. The point is simple. Whatever next played, I whatever logical move next played, of course, I would go for knight takes on e4. He played a3, now making sure that he does not have to lose a rook or a knight. But yes, the right move in this position was knight takes on e4. And after bishop captures, if they try to threaten you with knight to c1, attacking the rook and making square for knight on b3, the point is simply you push f5, and if they push f3, you push f4, you try to push the queen back further, and it's a winning end game, I would say, really winning. However, I found not better, I would say, but after this a3 move, I found a very anti-positional but miraculous idea of really bishop captures on b1. This is anti-positional move because I just gave up my very active bishop for the inactive knight. The point is my bishop just moved from the c8 square to the a6 square to the d3 square to the b1 square just to gobble up a knight. We did nothing. That's why it's anti-positional. But you will see my idea. Rook a takes on b1, pawn captures on e3, pawn captures on e3, rook captures on e3, and I'm up a rook, of course. And here he went for bishop to b4. And this is the position where the computer has actually threatened me a lot. But let's see that later. What is the right move in this position? Ready? The right move here is knight captures on e4. You can see the rook is actually pinning the bishop on f3, and that's why the queen is hanging. Now he has to move the queen backwards, and I thought he'd go for h2, but he went ahead and played queen to g4. f5 I played. The queen moves to h5. I played a g6 here. Queen captures h6, and a very inactive queen in the game. Very difficult for it to get activated now. That's not the point really. The point is now my rook is hanging, so I have to trade the bishops. Bishop captures, rook captures, and the anti-positional move, which my computer, my basically my chess engine also loves, is this queen to d2. Now you're trading the white queen for black queen. Black queen is actually really active. However, you're doing this trade, but this trade is necessary because now you are attacking the two rooks as well. So queen captures, knight captures, and after rook b8 check, and this trade I have very winning end game because you might see I have two knights and they're on the two different corners of the board, but still I've got four pawns. I have active rooks. Here he tried rook d1, rook d3, king h1, an amazing prophylactic move. e4 was played and he played knight to c1, and I cannot capture the bishop, of course. And there are two pieces lined. I had my queen, I had my king, sorry, and rook d6 I went for. He took back his bishop, knight c4, rook captures, knight captures, and bishop to a6 was played, which was the last mistake in the game. Because here retreating the bishop to either d1 or f1 was better. Now you can see my knight on the d6 square is controlling all the possible squares for this bishop, and I need to trap it. So I simply went for two moves, c5, knight e2, and c4. Point is simple, the bishop is now trapped, and I can pick it up at any point. A few more moves were played, like g4, knight f6, g takes on f5, and g captures on h5. And this is a completely winning endgame, so my opponent resigned. So for 7 minutes, if you've watched this video, you must be wondering that how did the computer ruin my brilliancy? The point is, you consider bishop b4 was played in the game in this position. The computer suggested the move bishop to c3. I was stunned because bishop to c3 not only blocks that knight captures, I had only one development move proper, which was knight g6. And after this rook a1, I had to trade, no other choice, otherwise I would lose development. And then queen c7, I had to play h4 h5, of course blocking white's attack. And after rook b1, king e7, you might need to consider that white is out of moves, true, but whatever white plays is going to be a stalling move, and I need to play carefully in this position. This position is said to be minus zero point 0.6, which means it is in black's favor but very slightly. And to be honest, as a human being, I would say this is a very difficult position for me to play, at least. Maybe some grandmasters would get it, but this is too stuck. You can see that white has open files, black has open files, but the kings are vulnerable. The pieces are just in front of the kings, and there's a lot of sticking here. So thanks for watching. I wish that computer does not ruin your brilliancies as well. But I'm really proud I found the move of bishop captures on b1. Maybe it did not work against the computer, but at least in the game, although this was a very anti-positional move, if you remember the path I traced, well, I'm really happy to play this. In the end, of course, I won, and I also learned that I could lose. So, very good day for me, and thank you all for watching.